It's Dr. Eric Balcavage. I'm back for another edition of Thyroid Thursday, and today we're going to talk about thyroid hormones and your menstrual cycle. So I'm often asked by some of my patients if thyroid hormone fluctuates during the month. And the answer to that is no. It should be pretty consistent from day to day. The vast majority of the thyroid hormone production occurs in the morning, and the conversion occurs throughout the rest of the day. But from day to day, the amount of thyroid hormone you make should be pretty consistent. You can have an increase of thyroid symptoms, however, right around day 14 and about that week before your cycle starts. And the reason for that isn't necessarily that there's more or less hormone available, but that there's an elevation of something called thyroid binding globulin during your peak times of estrogen load. And so somewhere around day 14, estrogen levels at its highest, and somewhere around that week before your menstrual cycle, estrogen levels are fairly high. As estrogen levels go up, the sex binding proteins or sex binding globulin levels go up. One of those is thyroid binding globulin. So as thyroid binding globulin goes up, there's less free thyroid hormone floating around the system. And if you remember from earlier videos, the thyroid hormone that actually binds to the receptors is the free hormone. When you see T4 or T3, that's bound to the protein. It's not usable. It has to come off of the protein and become free hormone, free T4, free T3 to actually do its work. I may have used an example before about the thyroid binding globulins being like taxi cabs. So if you wanted to go shopping in New York City, you would take a taxi ride into the city, but to actually do the shopping, you have to get out of the taxi cab. Same with thyroid hormone. You need the thyroid binding globulins to carry the thyroid hormone around the system, but you got to have the thyroid binding globulins give up the thyroid hormone so it can become free hormone so it can get into the cells and do its magic. Okay? One of the big challenges I see is that patients and people will go to their doctor complaining of these symptoms around their hormonal cycle. Doctors will do a TSH-T4. They won't run a full thyroid panel. They'll run a TSH-T4. They'll find out that TSH levels are normal and T4 levels are normal. And they'll look at a woman and say, well, you're a mom, you work, you got multiple kids, you're just stressed out, you're fatigued, and we can give you this medication like an SSRI that'll help you feel better. And you're just probably stressed out. And that's a good news, bad news scenario because initially the medication can make you feel better. But it hasn't addressed the real issue here. Besides that, while it may initially make you feel better, there are side effects that occur as a result of taking the medication. Had you not taken the medication, your symptoms probably would have dissipated as soon as the estrogen levels dropped, and you wouldn't have the symptoms, but you wind up taking the medication. You felt good maybe initially when you take it, but then you get the side effects of the medication, which could be headaches, migraine, insomnia, fatigue, GI problems, many of the same symptoms you originally took it for, and now you don't know whether it's what's really causing the symptomatology. The better issue is to address what's going on. Is there already maybe an elevation of estrogen? Is there an estrogen dominance? Is there problems with thyroid binding globulin? What else is going on with the thyroid physiology that may be causing this to be more significant or more severe? If your estrogen physiology is really good, if your thyroid physiology is really good, you probably don't even have any symptoms as your hormonal or your estrogens peak. But if those if you have estrogen issues or thyroid issues going into those peak estrogen periods, you're probably going to see more significant symptomatology. So the real solution isn't taking an SSRI. It's finding out why you may have those problems with estrogen and thyroid physiology that are exacerbated during the peak times of estrogen levels, during that right around ovulation and that week before your menstrual cycle. So what do you do if you have headaches or fatigue or symptoms right around day 14 or that week before your menstrual cycle? You need to find a functional medicine practitioner like myself who understands hormone physiology, thyroid physiology, can do a more thorough evaluation of what's going on, determine what's causing maybe the estrogen imbalances or the thyroid physiology problems, and help you fix it naturally through diet, lifestyle, and nutrition versus being put on an SSRI, which is not really going to address the underlying cause of the problem. And you run the risk of, short term you may feel better, long term you're going to have more symptoms as a result of being on the medication longer. So if you have questions, put them below the video. I'll be sure to get back to you. If you have some more significant questions or challenges and you want to contact me, you can always call my office, 610-558-8920. All right? Look forward to doing another video for you next Thursday.